Hey, Soul Warriors, have you ever wondered why time seems to fly when you're having fun, but really drags when you're bored? Let's unravel Einstein's wisdom that time is a persistent illusion created by our human minds. Are you ready to shatter this illusion and reclaim your powers beyond the ticking clock? I feel like we all spend so much time sinking our energy into building our future or worrying about our past that we forget to be really present and invest our time into this moment right now and making it the best that we possibly can. I feel like it's a big miss that the energy is because time is energy. Energy is just going to past or future and never really nourishing us here. And then we're feeling unfulfilled all the time. Like, no wonder.
You know, in reading the book, The Big Leap, this is where I learned a little bit about the Einstein Time and the difference it can make in your life. When you take full responsibility that you are the source of time, it shifts a lot of things in your life. And I put it to a test. You know, I spent last week after reading the book. It says that if you take a week and isolate those words from yourself, I don't have enough time, there's not enough time in the day, I have so much to do, things like that. You take that vocabulary away and just be in it. Because the idea here is to be fully present. And we've spoken about being fully present before, but this is like really deliberately. Like, when you imagine being with a bunch of people that you totally enjoy, your family, you're making really good connections, you are fully present and the time flies by. Because you have taken responsibility at that moment of that present time and you've amplified it so that you can have so much of it. But when you're sitting in that, I don't want to do that. Somebody asks you to do something and you're like, well, I don't have time for that. Now you've just entered the, I don't want to do that. Instead of saying that, I don't want to do that, you say, I don't have time. And that's not necessarily true. And that's what I did. I played with it a little bit by, every time I went to go do something, I would look at the time. And I do a bunch of things and I was present for it and everything like that. And I clocked it at 2:00. And by the time I was done doing several things, not just the one thing, several things, it was 2:10. I was like, what?
It worked.
I managed to do so much more in less quote unquote time because I was so fully present for it. So I'm digging that.
Yeah. So, I mean, the book she already mentioned is The Big Leap. It's by Gay Hendricks. If you want to look it up, it's a phenomenal book that'll take you, you probably have heard being in your zone of genius, like all these different things, processes, real life examples. It's an amazing book.
It is.
We've reread it several times. So I want to look at the energetics behind this from the examples you gave. Like say you're at a party and you're having a really good time and it just seems to be flying by. This is because energetically you've expanded your time because you're in fun, you're in connection, you're in joy, whatever high frequency thing it is. So you've expanded your energy out and it's just filling up all of space and time as we hear about it. And the opposite happens when you're bored, when you're in a low vibration, when you're depressed, when you're angry, all these things. Low vibrations, you start to contract. Somebody asks you to do something you don't want to do. Yeah, I don't have enough time. Like, just don't see me. I am not here for you to pick to do that right now. And I'm going to be the victim of time because, it's time's fault that I can't be present for you. So once we own this, we talk a lot about befriending things, and time is the same. So how do you befriend things instead of making time your master or you the victim of time or you having zero control? Because it's just, there's only so much time in the day. That's what I was taught growing up. So many hours on the clock. Like, these are all constructs. We've agreed to play this time game because it helps serve us to keep us all in sync. It's almost like an alignment tool.
Right.
But we've taken it to the nth degree of like micromanaging every little space and then not feeling good enough and not feeling worthy at the end of it because it's impossible to accomplish. This is one of those illusions to keep you in the rat race and can be very useful for, mutually agreed upon appointments and stuff like that. But otherwise, it is just something that has been a box around you. So once you own it, like you mentioned, like, okay, I am the source of time. Everything is energy and I am everything. So I can make as much time as I want. And then you start playing these games with it. Mm-hmm. Drop the complaining, like she said. Awareness we talk about all the time. Really tapping into like, oh, I just said that. I just use it as an excuse. Instead, you're saying to yourself, I can create as much time as I want. I'm the source of all time. Mm-hmm. I am everything, so I am time. I love time and I love myself. So I'm going to create as much of it as I want and I need. Mm-hmm. Like, this is about how we speak to ourselves. This is about dropping the old programs as we're recognizing that I don't have enough time is one of my programs and I'm not buying into that anymore.
Right. And the easiest way to do that is by simply saying, I am the source of time. Mm-hmm. Instead of saying, I don't have time.
Right.
That's as easy as that shifts. And one of the things, I'll read it out loud. It says, what if there were ways that you can take ownership of how you experience time in your life? And he gives an example as to an hour with a beloved feels like a minute. And a minute on a hot stove feels like an hour. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, yes, I would imagine. I mean, I've never known what it is to be sitting on a hot stove, but I've gotten burned.
Yeah.
So it's all in how we look at it. It comes down to it. And taking responsibility and owning that we have the capability to adjust, quote unquote, time. So this facade that we've bought into about not having time, is something that we truly have control over. In discovering a lot of this and doing the spiritual awakening, there is so much more that we have control of in our environment, within ourselves, in the ability to shift things in our lives. The capability is massive. And it comes down to what I have always loved, and it's the fact that we are super beings. We come here with so much power and source and energy and the ability to create so much. I mean, just look at the freaking world around you, the things that people have created, So if we can do that in an outward way while maintaining our balance, staying in our sovereignty, being able to control the things that we are capable of controlling, which is usually us, not out here, mm-hmm. we can accomplish so much. So this thing with time, I'm just going to call bullshit now. Anytime I feel like I don't have enough time, I'm going to call bullshit on myself and I'm going to take responsibility that I am the source of time. Mm-hmm. And that's how it's going to sit for me.
Well, that's how everything works, really. It's just shifting your perspective and making it bigger. Really, like, an awesome thing about you reading that book is that you took responsibility for learning about time. Because if we're talking about being, like a good steward of time or money or any of these things that we've been taught are limited, it's like befriending them. And if you're making friends with somebody, you learn about them. You learn what makes them tick. You learn what works best for them and what doesn't. But we're never taught about time. We're just taught, like, this is how you read the clock and you should be on time always. Like, either you're a time Nazi or you're like a time slacker, as I was always the time slacker. And my family was like, what's wrong with you? But they would show up like a half an hour early to something. So even if I was 5 minutes early, I was still late because they were already there. It's just like, it's this whole thing, this whole put upon thing. But so the more you learn about, like, read Einstein's theory of relativity. There's very simple explanations online. You don't have to get all like, unless you want to. It's awesome if you want to go deeper into it. Read Gay Hendricks' book. There's so much information out there that helps you shift your relationship with time and learn about what it really is and how it can work for us instead of being something that's working against us all the time. It's so funny that we become the victim of it if we have too much, and we have become the victim if we have too little. Like, we're never happy with time. Time is never enough. Time is not worthy. Like, we're putting all that, that judgment onto it.
It's all in how you want to take it, because, I've had shit happen in my life, but I did not let that dictate who I was going to become. And that's the power that we all have. Because if you get a lot of shit done, right, in a short period of time, now you have extra time to be creative, to have fun, to play, to do the things that really move the essence of that joy, of that, peace that you're looking for. So it leaves room for that. And that's one of the things that he pointed out, which was really cool.
That's interesting, because when I was playing with time before I read that chapter from Gay Hendricks, I did actually the opposite, because I'm always like a massive to-do list that there's no way I'll ever finish in a day, and just go, 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 go. And then I don't have time to take a walk or meditate or, all the things that would actually nourish me. So I've been kind of deconstructing this for myself for the last couple of years. But for the last few months, I've been flipping it around, like prioritizing like my walk. I'll use my walk as an example, because I had a really awesome thing with this yesterday. I went for a walk because I didn't get my steps in yet. And I wanted the stupid gold star on the app. And I'm like, oh my God, like living and dying by what somebody else has decided is the right amount of steps for my body. Like, no. So I'm going out. I'm just going to do 20 minutes and get this done. I came back like maybe an hour later, walked over 2 miles, like didn't even realize it, because I just got into this flow while I was walking. And then creativity opened up in me. And I'm like, oh, but I have to get back and design that program for Soul Intentions and, write that web page so people can sign up for it. Like, I had all these to-do things when I first started. And by the end of it, I was like, I created an entire program. I decided what I wanted to say in a post, and I decided what should be on a website. Like, I had it all mapped out in my head when I walked in. So I just walked in, walked up to the laptop, and it was done. I want to give you a quick message before we get back to this episode. Unlock the secrets of your soul for free with Soul Notes. Say goodbye to feeling stuck and hello to the validation of your alignment. These weekly prompts are filled with reminders, gentle nudges, and sometimes a kick in the ass, all with love from your soul. Don't just take our word for it. Try Soul Notes for yourself and see the difference it can make in your life. Trust us, your soul and you will thank you. Just go to soulnote.org. That's SOULNOTE.org. Now back to our podcast. Where if I had done it the old way or the reverse way, I would have still had my to-do list of 85,000 things and taken all damn day and felt depleted and not felt happy and not felt nourished. But because I chose the things that got me in the highest vibration first, it put me into flow. It put me into creativity, so that the answers could flow through me and it became easy.
You took the time to take care of yourself. You did something that you enjoyed. You stayed in the present moment, and you were able to allow the creativity to come out because you weren't focused on the 20 million to-do list, or that you didn't have enough time, or that you were like walking because I needed to get this done. You were just simply enjoying the walk. Yeah. You can't go wrong with that. If you just allow in self-care, and we've said this as well, that self-care is so important. He mentions that in the book as well, when it comes to relationships, that those of us that are consistently with one another, like now with working from home and all that stuff, that we might create an argument or something like that just to take space from your partner. But he said, instead of doing that, apply self-care. Go for a walk. Go do something on your own so that you don't have the urge to create something that isn't going to be beneficial to either one of you in your relationship, just so that you can create that space.
Right.
A lot of us tend to do that sometimes because we can't seem to find the words, you know. But when we are honest with ourselves about how we're feeling, what's really going on, what perspective are we not getting or understanding? You know how simple it can be if she's saying something to me and I'm really not getting it, instead of acting up because in my head this is what I might be saying. I'm feeling stupid. I have no idea what the hell she's talking about. Blah 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 blah. That, so then all of a sudden now I'm getting defensive. All those things when I can simply say, you know what? Help me understand your perspective. Now you're open.
Right.
Now you're allowing to be able to have a conversation versus letting everything that's going on in here take hold when that's not the real story.
Right. Like I quickly, with my walk example, I quickly realized I was just doing it for the steps and for the app. And I was like, that's stupid. And I'm like, okay, I'm thinking that's stupid. That's a stupid action to choose. I'm not stupid. I'm smart. So what am I going to do? And I grabbed my headphones and I put something positive in my ears, just to shift the vibration, and then started, looking at the birds and the trees and all the things that were high vibe to me, until I was so in the beauty that everything just started to fall away. And yeah, my creativity came out. So you can take that space. I mean, we've had times where we're trying to work on something and it's just not happening, and we can't pick up that thread of energy that, really befits the energy of all of us soul warriors. And it starts to get frustrating. And one of us will just pop up and be like, I need to go take a walk. And the other one's like, okay, cool, because I need to, fill in the blank. And we just, it's like no harm, no foul. That wasn't a fail. We just realized the energy wasn't present with that at that moment. And this is where time starts to be your friend and work for you. The universe will start to line up. We call it divine timing a lot of times, but things will just start to line up. And the more you get into this, I am time, I am the source of time, I can create as much as I want, the more things will present like, nope, this is most important right now. Like, you want to write that web page really super easy, what you guys are working on. Yeah, go for the walk, go listen to that music, because that will shift you and put you in the vibration. And then we come back and it's easy. Being a limitless being.
Exactly.
So time is limitless too.
Exactly. So just own that. Just, really let it sit and land in your body that you are the source of time. And just be aware. Be deliberate. I like being deliberate. I like saying that word, deliberate.
It's a good word. It's a juicy word.
I like being deliberate about what I say, what I do, how I act. Because that's putting me in the present moment at any given time.
Right? Yeah. Because I don't like being a victim of time. I refuse to continue to be a victim of time. Being a master of time, that sounds way cooler. Sounds way more fun. Yeah. I am the source of time. Sounds pretty important.
I'm the master of time.
I like it.
Yeah.
So embrace that, embody those things, have fun. I know a lot of us like Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings and all these mystical medieval things, give yourself a title, they pass out like M&Ms over in the lovely across the pond in the UK. I'm the master of time. Yeah. You don't have to run around putting it on your bio or you can, because that's fun too, if that's fun for you. Whatever feels good. This is, again, all about staying in that frequency, and time is no different. Yeah. So be limitless, be deliberate, own it always, and you can master time as well.
Absolutely. So be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment so that we know if this is hitting you on a certain way. All right. Be kind.
Peace.